you only offer the CEMS MIM here at St. Gallen. It's not your own program. Are you offering a foreign import?
No, we have not the possibility to integrate directly students from outside. It's always interlinked with our current master programs at our university.
So I have to already be here to get into the Masters in Management?
Of course, this is the way you find our CEMS MIM. It's, to let you know a little bit, the construction, it's always on top, so you can select out of our 13 master programs, and on top is as a flagship program positioned our CEMS MIM.
So when I decide to do the Masters in Management here, it's an afterthought. I didn't think about it when I came to St. Gallen.
Yeah, it's quite different in the meantime. I had the same impression like you over last year. First of all, you go to our university, have not in mind the MIM, but I see such a change of minds over the last years, because our exchange programs at the university, especially our MIM, is so strong, and it's a little benchmark in the Sems network, so the people knows about our Sems MIM.
Is it your MIM or Sems's MIM?
Yeah, basically it's our MIM, but it's interlinked to this platform of 29 universities. As you know, there's one head office in Paris, and around in 5 continents, over 5 continents, we have 29 schools. So it's in a sense our own MIM, but interlinked to this global platform.
So what's the difference between the MIM here and in Brazil or Hungary or Moscow?
Yeah, I think in most of the cases it's a standalone program. Means so there is one master in management, and if you prolong your time up to 2 years, so you have absolved, you are graduate of this program. So in our case it's different, because our program is fed by all of our 13 master programs, and it's, as I mentioned, a flagship program, a crown program on top. So for me, it's quite important to get the best students out of 13 programs at our university, and not to have one mindset from one management program.
So you're stealing good students from the other 13 programs?
Yeah, I would say I will not steal. It's enrichment, because they are immatriculated in one of these master programs, and they do a double degree in the end. So they enrich their original idea to do here a banking and finance program or accounting program, and enrich this program with the Sems MIM.
When you take somebody out, imagine that they do very, very well in the MIM program, but their main studies in that banking and finance masters fall down. Can they graduate just with the MIM?
No, it's always interlinked. So it's a condition to absolve your original master program plus the MIM. So in a way it's a basis to be a graduate of your MIM. But it's the same at the other universities worldwide. You know, when you look to Bocconi, to our friends, or FGV, Getúlio Vargas, so it's always you fulfill your assignment in your original master program, and on top you get the Sems MIM degree.
In another university, though, I might be doing their Masters in Management, and the Sems is an add-on. But here, I may be doing something completely different, like organizational culture, and come to the MIM. Will doing the Masters in Management dilute my studies? Will it confuse me or distract me from my main Masters?
No, again, I think it's really an enrichment of your perspectives. I give you an example. When you go to organization and culture, or to a hardcore economic program, quantitative economics, econometrics, It's very technical. And you come in our MIM, yeah, you will really improve development in your personal skills, in your personal setting. So you will learn extra languages, you will learn to handle international situation, You will hear a lot about leadership. So you can really improve your personal surrounding.
One of the master's programs that you take students from is the Strategic International Management course, which is rated #1. Does that mean that you're competing with yourself?
No, I had the same. I had the same idea as we started with our CEMS program in 2005. By the way, it was a follow-up from our original MIM program, but not to change this with the Sems. But as we started this in 2005, I got the impression, and a lot of people asked me the same question, but I can really say we have, even from the CIM program students in our SEMS program, so there is such different.
Am I a SIM-SEM or a SEM-SIM?
SIM-SEMS.
But can I be more of a SEM-SIM later if I really like the SEM identity?
Yeah, I would say there are different characteristics in, you know. I would say you have, with our CIM program provided from HSG, from our university, you have a class of 30, 40 students, you know. It's this environment. When you look to SEMS, you can enrich this because you get, with this help, with this platform of 65 corporate partners, with an alumni of SEMS of 8,700 alumni, with the professors, with the faculty around, with these exchange opportunities worldwide, you get much more possibilities in your personal development if you only in the CIM program.
Is it hard to get into SEMS?
Yeah, it's as I mentioned, it's on top, and there's a huge selection process to get these SEMSes, these SEM students, and it's not triggered hard from the grading. There is one first selection with grading, and to have to fulfill the TOEFL, you know, the language basis, and then there's a next step in this selection process to have to do a kind of a cognitive test.
Is that the inductive logical reasoning?
Yeah, kind of this way. And on top, what we have established, and it's really a benchmark in the complete SEMS network, that we have a kind of 2 days assessment. And we are developing always the case for this assessment, inviting corporate partners, so they are 2 days with us in selecting the right students to fulfill, to find out if they have the potential for the SEMS MIM.
Some of the tests come under the heading of attitude and soft skills. One is international openness. I'm trying to imagine how you test for that. Do you start speaking to somebody in a really strange language with a funny accent to see if they laugh at you?
No, that's not the test to test languages, you know. By the way, we have established this test in English and German, so the people can really confirm or will be tested in their own language. Yeah? And I would say important is at this point that we can feel a kind of international orientation that they did in their past, in their CV, they were in the holidays there, they did the internship abroad, that we see a kind of interest to be a global member.
That's quite difficult to prove if you don't have enough money to travel. If you're a student who really has an international interest, but you never had the money to take a trip.
But then it's up to you as a student to convince us, you know. Then it's up to you. If you have not the time, if you have not the money, so it's your time in 5 minutes to say, look, I'm very, very interested in to be not passive. I saw in the past a lot of students, they came in an assessment and there was no word. So it's their chance and to convince us as assessment, in the assessment about their idea to come to SEMS.
Another of the soft skills you test is integrity. It's on the website. I imagine that I'm left in a room full of Swiss chocolates and I'm not allowed to eat any, and you leave me there doing a test. And in the end, if I eat a chocolate, I'm out.
Yeah, you are good informed, obviously. You looked at all the details in our Sems program. Hey, you are a master, you can really profit out of it, maybe if you invite it next year. Yeah, this is very hard to test, you are right. But it goes in the direction of reliability. How can we set on you? How can we in a way bet on you, you know? Are you right here in Sems? You can as well convince us to be a citizen of Sems.
So what is the profile of a Sems student?
You know, he has to present us the potential to be really interested in I would say, in a international program with work on top, really present us interested to develop their own personality, with the idea, I would say, to be international on the one side hand, to be embedded in a local area on the other side hand, to have this balance. The second point, I would say, to learn to be authentic, it's very important in the life. I saw a lot of students, they developed their personality in a kind of they were not authentic in the end. They had many characteristics, many faces, you know. And last but not least, it's reliability. I would say that you can really say, I can estimate a little bit. We have the confidence to work with this guy. I'm
a bit afraid of this authenticity criterion. Mm-hmm. Of course, if I'm just myself, that's great. But if I really want to make an impression on these businesses who are going to see me in the assessment center, on these professors who work and travel all over the world, well, I'm just little me. Mm-hmm. I'm going to have to put on some kind of face. Otherwise, maybe I won't get in.
Okay. Yeah, there's one point you have to play like in a movie at the beginning. You have to present yourself in one part of the assessment. You are right, but nevertheless, to be authentic is in a long-term run the right way.
You have SEMS students of your own, and you also see SEMS students come in from the other 29 schools. Yeah. Do you feel a difference between your homegrown St. Gallen students and the students that come from other schools?
This is a very dangerous question, you can imagine. Yeah? My feel is over the years that the St. Gallen students are very prepared to go abroad. They have a package, they are very analytical, trained, I would say. But now, they have now to confirm what they would trained over years, you know. When students come in, they're quite different. You see, you mentioned that's 29 universities, you know. The universities, they have different styles. Yeah? There are some public universities, they are more method-driven, I would underline. Other private schools are more case-based, so it's quite different what would we gain. But in the end, you know, if you have a class of 50, this is an enrichment, you know. You have different types of students inside. The real challenge, from my point of view, is how we can adjust that we have the same level of quality when we start a project. Think about if we start at the fall term with a core course in strategy, you know. If we have 50 students, the half from St. Gallen, the half from the other 28 schools. So it's not too easy to handle this, you know. Traditionally, you dive in with your cohort from your own university. They are all of the same level, more or less. They know about the university, they know the environment. But now, how can we handle this proportion, half outside, half inside?
Traditionally, in SEMS, each school brings 2 corporate partners.
Yeah, well informed.
How many have you got?
Yeah, I think we have 5.
Is that greedy?
We have 5 so far, you know, but in the end we have 65 partners in 29 countries. In a way, so you can add. My aim, not maybe the SEMS aim. My aim is to have really the right partners running out from Switzerland, supporting our network in Switzerland, but all over the world. The truth is that, let me say, ABB or UBS Bank or Zurich Financial Insurance Company, they cannot do business project with me in Australia and in Hong Kong. Huh? But they have to define some key markets where we work together. And this is good. You know, if we count 68 corporate partners worldwide, they support the programs in a way. They trigger the students. So it's fantastic. And there's the challenge. There's the real challenge. How we bring this network, this network to a next step, to create synergy.
What I'm trying to understand as a selfish student, from my point of view, if you've got 5 corporate partners, I would expect to get some nice chocolates, an iPad, a mountain bike, maybe a bus pass or something.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but in the end we have 5 core partners, they pay in the network. In real, we have 20 partners, they support our university. No, maybe there's one partner from UK, from London, PricewaterhouseCoopers, they are paid from this headquarters, but they're doing a lot of projects in Switzerland.
How did you win this?
Yeah, this is, I think this is, since 2007 we have, or 8, we have these awards as a School of the Year. We have awards to the core courses, business projects and so on. Huh? This is the result of, I think, of a long work, and it's not only it's evaluated by the students, and this evaluation is not only academically. I have to say this is a broad evaluation, comes even to the student support.
But you win this when your own students vote for you?
Yeah, in a way.
And you can bribe them with chocolate?
Yeah, this is, and cheese, by the way.
Okay.
But we have guest students, you know. We have guest students. The half are always guest students, and you have to see, it's in the end a cohort of 150 students a year from St. Gallen and from abroad, you know. There's a lot of challenge in the competition inside. I cannot feed them with chocolate so long, you know.
Something I noticed in the small print on the website, when a Sems student from St. Gallen goes abroad, they have to promote St. Gallen.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Yeah, there are, I would say, different reasons for it, several reasons. By the way, this is even for the regular exchange students the case, not only Sems. From our point of view, our students are future alumni, our students are ambassadors of our university. So there's a minimum of representation from our university side there. So, and the best ambassadors from my point of view are not the academics. Sorry, my friends, to say this, because they are reliable, the students, they are believable in a way, so they can again attract students from the other side, say, hey, look, St. Gallen, we have chocolate and cheese, but beyond of it, we have a lot of other interesting ideas in Switzerland and at the university.
If you want to be exclusive, why advertise?
We advertise our university, that we attract students. This is the only reason.
If you've got something really, really good, then people will know about it from word of mouth.
Yeah, but I think it's a long process. You have to look a little bit in the history, you know. It's about St. Gallen University. As I started in 2003, my job, my former vice president said, Jürgen, start with the internationalization process against the background of Bologna. Go forward, you know. It's a long process to be recognized from other universities, from corporate partners, that the HR offices in the end take your students. It's a long process. It's not overnight. Think about the first tier universities worldwide. It's a 30, 40, 50 years process. We are we were a long time, very outstanding in the German context. Today, I would say, University of St. Gallen is recognized in Europe and in a lot of cases worldwide, you know. But it's a long process, and belongs not only to Sems. This is would say a co-branding, a kind of co-branding, comes to marketing for our university. It's a strategic issue, but it's research-driven, it's services-driven, alumni-driven, so you need a critical size of a university with all teaching, with all research, with all services to get out of it.
Would the MIM at St. Gallen be more attractive if you did not have the requirement to speak 3 languages?
Yeah, this is a very interesting question, because it's a little bit my idea for the future. The last 10 years, as we did the strong internationalization strategy with all instruments, you can believe it was really, comes to languages, there's only one language, English, and it's a kind of lingua franca worldwide. It's the connecting language. When you look today to the headquarters in Zurich, the people speak the whole day English. Yeah? So, but now, I would say since 2 years, I see comes from the HR worldwide, I see the demand to be at the same time embedded in the local context. Therefore, the languages, they got more power. Yeah? There was a time really English was enough and maybe a second language, and then you're right, you are completely right. Therefore, there was a burden, a kind of burden for a lot of students. Maybe they were the pioneers over years, over 20 years, to learn 2, 3 extra languages. Our university, St. Gallen, we prolong this, we demand this since 20 years. As you know, we have these context studies to foster it, but we were a little bit alone, I would say, when I compare these context studies demanding 2 extra languages in comparison to other schools worldwide. Today, more and more schools, they jump to this model, learning more languages because they have recognized that it's important. So at the end of the day, back to this point, at the end of the day, it's quite important to have an idea of the local context, of the local environment. And these are languages. These are languages, and my colleagues, they demand to order St. Gallen sausage, St. Gallen Bratwurst in Swiss German. Yeah? There's a minimum of respect maybe in another culture. And this, I would say, this gives us on the right way, although it's the right way for us to invest in languages.
One of the goals of Sems is to make a very high quality pre-experience management skill. I don't understand what that means. How can somebody who's never been a manager have high experience of management skills?
Yeah, I would say this very moderate, you know. You're completely right. High experience means if they worked for years and years in an international company, yeah, right? I would say on the stage of a student, they have the potential. They work on this potential in the next years, and I think there are good signs they will fulfill these assignments in the future.
There's another promise in the goals of Sems to make somebody into a multicultural manager. Okay. Do you use this?
Yeah, this is fantastic. You know, this is a fantastic sign always. This is not only a cowbell. You're right. It's not only a cowbell. This is a sign for a culture, and this helps, by the way, a lot if we start a meeting. Start on the right time in Switzerland, you know. We start really when we say at 12 o'clock, we start at 12 o'clock.
Does it excite the cows if they hear you doing this?
Yeah, exciting cows. We have, as you know, we have maybe the happiest cows of the world.
You've got some very nice milkmaids. Let's go into the program itself. What's the block seminar? Is that a wood block, like a musical instrument?
No, it's not a kind of block. It's a block seminar. It's always driven by the faculty group. They have an idea. For example, we have here a faculty group to the topic of sustainability. And this is a kind of the starting point of a year, of the Sems academic year. So started always in August, and then the general start for the semester depends on the school. So this is something before, and this is a specific topic, and there are invited corporate partners, academics from all over the world, from the CEMS schools, out of the faculty group, and a lot of students.
There's a 2-day program in responsible global leadership.
Yeah, this is what we did last 3 weeks ago.
But does that mean you spend 363 days of the year teaching irresponsible global leadership?
No. This is as well a starting point to introduce the program and to give the first insight what's about global leadership. You can imagine, for this day we go in the Canton Appenzell to the cows, and we have there positioned the kind of Sems Olympics, you know, the Sems Olympics. Huh? And there are different tasks, tasks they have to do in groups, different backgrounds, nations, in a way. It's very interesting, you know, who is taking the lead in the group. So it's both. On one side hand, it's the introduction of the spring term, in our case. On the other side hand, gives the first outlook, what could be the understanding of leadership.
The open elective, can I really study anything?
No, we have a very, would say, good framework of courses. First of all, they have to do the core courses. In fall term, it's always the strategy course. In spring term, this course is more open. This is more a cultural course, and we're doing as well the field of leadership. So it's driven by us, by the committee. We think about it, what could be important beyond of our USP. We would present in the Sems MIM from HSG side. And we have a frame. We have about, depends on if it's fall or spring term, we have a frame of, let me say, 7 core electives. So only the SEM students can entry in these courses.
Can you give me an example of one of the kind of things that I might do?
Yeah, I think, as I mentioned, they do the leadership course in spring at the moment. So it's provided by my colleague, Wolfgang Jennewein. And they can select out of a portfolio of 3-4 courses. So it's one course, a new course in the field of finance. But this is even different driven if you look to the regular course and this course. Because we have this very international class, we have the different levels. So we discuss how we can deliver against the background of this quality framework in SEMS the best course.
There's something called the SEMS research project with which I can replace another part of the course. What might I do?
So the research project, basically you can do up to 7.5 credits in this ECTS framework. And back to the question, they can come in my office and can say, look, I have to do a thesis for the university, and they can expand the thesis to a certain area, and they can agree. I can agree with him or with her. Then I can give them extra credits.
This idea of failures is interesting. I can have very good grades all the way through the course. My other degree is going very well, but I really struggle on the consulting project. Will I fail SEMS?
Yeah, in the end, you would fail if we find in cooperation with the headquarters in Paris no other solution. Because there's no one way. Otherwise, you have to repeat 1 year later. And it's sometimes you can imagine if the students at the end of their student career, in a way, it's money. You know, if you have to wait another year for this project, it's a long time. And in the past, I heard from other schools and in our discussions that sometimes they fail then of this because of this project.
You did a project with Maybelline. Is that just putting a plumper on girls' eyelashes?
Yeah, we do it at the moment, this project, and you see how heavy and how demanded the projects are with this. Maybelline is this, this line you mentioned, a cosmetic line, and our students, our MyStem students, they're doing this project to develop the strategy for the Swiss market. So they really demand a lot because they heard a lot. L'Oreal, they heard a lot about the level of the project over the last years. This other companies the same. So therefore, you can imagine that always when I do the kickoff I send out information to our corporate partners in September, that they come very quickly and say, oh, Jürgen, we would love to do a project with Gallen, with Sems MIM. Yeah? And Maybelline, they have high expectation, and quite often the students present them at the end to the CEOs, to the directors, of the managing directors of these companies.
What's the personal performance project?
The personal performance project is my own course I do every year in the Alps. So I go with 25 selected students to a alpine hut, and I invite people from the very senior people, I have to underline, from corporate partners. The thing is, it's different. It's not to teach the student, it's more to invite them, to give the offer for their personal development.
What do you actually do up there in this hut?
Yeah, first of all, we do here in St. Gallen the kick-off. Yeah, I give them the right methods in presenting issues, asking, facilitation. And afterwards, I give them the task, and with this package, let them know who is coming from the companies. I give them the whole day time to ask the senior partners from the corporate partners, to ask them, what is in the experience important for my life? What can I transfer for me personally? So it's a huge development, and I would say a kind of development at this day, and there's a kind of click, and they can really go forward.
To me, it sounds like a kind of guru worship, because there's one of these guys, CEOs, and the group of 25 students.
No, there are four. There are four representatives of these companies. Mm-hmm. And so I try to do a little bit diversity management. They come with different backgrounds and different branches invited, so it's very interesting the whole day.
What is contact studies? Is it like a kind of a sport?
Contact study is not a part of my CEMS program, but I think you mean the context studies at the University of St. Gallen, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we have this. It's called context studies. Yeah, right. And this is something special. As I mentioned in the background of languages, context studies are, from our view as university, very important, because this gives you a kind of holistic view. Yeah? St. Gallen University is very popular since the 60s, in particular in the German context. We had this outstanding researcher here, Ulrich Bleicher, who traditionally developed the St. Gallen management model. It's a kind of very holistic way to think, to reflect about things.
Why have I never heard of it?
Yeah, don't know. Maybe it's not because we did it in this way over the last 20 years. But now, a lot of other universities, they discovered this issue. When you look to Copenhagen, they do a project with us together. And a lot of US schools, by the way, are at the moment strongly interested in this context studies.
Who's your biggest competitor, would you say?
I think we Swiss, you know, and especially as St. Gallen University, as a public university, we're looking not directly in competitors. In a way, all the competitors are in the Sems network. Yeah? There is HEC Paris, there is London School of Economics, but at the end, it's not a competitor, we are friends in the Sems network.
Vienna, for example, I could go there and study Sems. I would also improve my German, and it would be real German, not Swiss German.
Yeah, I'm not so sure if it's in Vienna real German. Then you have to go to Hanover, to Germany, if you would like to learn real German, you know. We have 4 different languages in Switzerland, and we speak
French,
Swiss German,
French, German, money, and English.
Yeah, you forgot Rätoromansch. Romansch, it's a little particular language. It's only up to 1% in the southern part of Switzerland. But it's very interesting. But look, in the courses we speak High German. By the way, we have 50% of our faculty is international. And international means there are a lot of Germans on board. So there are a lot of people there are from Hanover, from Germany, and speaking highest German.
Is the school public or private?
The school is public, yeah, because it's really driven by the canton. The owners are the canton, yeah, like other 12 universities in Switzerland, like the official ETH federal universities and the others in Bern, Basel, Zurich.
But how can you be a public university if more than half of your budget is self-generated?
You're very informed. Yeah, this is very tricky because we are from the mindset, I would say, very entrepreneurial. You know, keep in mind that we have 42 institutes and centers at the university, and they're driving in a way the university. They're very autonomous. They're doing a lot of research. They're doing consulting. They're giving expertise. They're doing money. They get money for this. And this is our tradition, to have this climate, to be on one side hand a public university, but on the other side hand working more like a private school.
Can you really have the best of both worlds? Surely there must be conflicts. Do you have to pay back if you make too much?
Oh, this is a very interesting, and I had the same, I did the same question from myself. Yeah, think about the financial crisis in 2008 around, you know, and a lot of universities, private schools from the second level, they had really problems, or they are not here today. And my outcome or my result of this crisis, and is that our type is not bad. I think on one side hand you can profit out of your entrepreneurial spirit, of your private engagement. On the other side hand you have a foundation, you have a basis in the canton in Switzerland, you know. So you have a kind of insurance, in a way, a kind of insurance and a balance between both. Yeah?
Some universities in their different courses have social projects or a social requirement. It can be very vaguely interpreted, but is there such a social element to the CEMS Master in Management?
Yeah, there are two things to say here in this step. You know, there are, over the last years, I see a big change from the classical project they did in consulting, in banking and SEM, to the more social projects, you know. When you look today to our graduates, what they do in real, 10 years ago they worked 84% for banking industry and about, would say 30%, 70% here, 30% in consultancy. Today we have a diversity, and a lot of students, they take the chance to work for a non-profit organization or they do social projects. In SEMS, this is a key issue, that the students are engaged in this kind of project. I personally bring the Africa project with my colleague from Ivy in Canada forward. You know, we're looking at the moment for a university in developing countries to bring this university in, and that our students can help us in this issue, maybe to teach there, maybe to do a non-profit project there. So it's quite important.
Speaking of developing markets, Sems doesn't have a partner in the United States. Is that good? Does that keep a European feel to Sems?
Yeah, it's a long, I think, a long demand from our students, from our corporate partners. But you have to keep in mind, we found now one school in Canada. It's Ivy, and they are prepared in the meantime in this education environment to invest in these pre-experienced master programs. In US, there aren't so far not many pre-experienced master programs. So especially when I come to the top schools we're looking for. Yeah? There's only, in the Ivy League, there are 5, 6, 7 schools we're looking for, and they have not invested so far. But there's a discussion over the last 2 years, and I'm quite optimistic that we will find over the next 2-3 years one school in the US.
What is the unique selling point of the Sems Master in Management?
Yeah, I think there's really a great chance in the future to take really these students out of these 29 schools, because I feel then here in St. Gallen, they have the potential to create really impact to our society. And this is really the important point. We have a kind of education mission as teachers, as supporters of all of these programs worldwide, and we have really to fulfill these options, you know. So this is very serious from my point of view, and the students are really invited in the Sems MIM programs worldwide to dive in this mission.